Bang, bang. Welcome, DFS Dads, the WGC event, no cut, coming off the Olympics. This is going to be fun. We're going to tell you what players you should play, what players not to play, and the important stats to break down. So, first and foremost, we got our boy Dustin and Price on the call tonight or in the morning, depending on when you're watching. But let's break this down. We are in Memphis. The weather has become very nice. It was in the high 90s. This week it's in the 80s, so good weather around the Memphis area. So I understand it gets hot down south in the summertime. So the pros are coming into good weather. Xander coming on hot off his gold medal, and we all know how he does in the no-cut events. So some of the course conditions, we're at TPC Southwind. It is a pretty tough par 70, pretty long, pretty lengthy, almost 7,300 yards, only two par fives. And a couple stats that we like is obviously approach shot, par four scoring, par four, 450 to 500, bogey avoidance, and scrambling. That's it for the key stats and some course breakdown. Let's get into the players. Is Price and Dustin have anything to add before we jump into the top-notch golfers?
Not really. I mean, it used to be played at Bridgestone, which I liked better because this is the event where I won $35,000 on. Last year was at Bridgestone. But,
bang, bang.
Now we're in Memphis because FedEx sponsors the PGA Tour, so they needed this event.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting, figuring out if you want to play those guys that come back from the Olympics, if they don't pull out. Obviously, some of them could, but like the Patrick Reed or Victor Hovland, some of those guys, just coming back. It's a long week over there, and then you're flying back all the way across country. So
it has to mess with you because of the time difference too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, some of those guys play both ways. A lot of those, European that come over and play in the PGA. But for a regular guy that just plays over here all the time, it's gotta jack you up.
Yeah, so it is a WGC event. So if you're more of a not a hardcore DFS player, all the top players in the world are playing. John Rahm is not recovering from COVID. Past, I think this is the second time he got COVID. But second time he's out COVID now. So he's still recovering from that. I don't know if he is just not allowed to play because it's too close to when he tests positive. But he's out. Everybody else, all the other big names, are in. So let's start up from Rory up to Colin Morikawa, who has been on a tear lately. This top of the field, Dustin Johnson, who won in 2018 before it became a WGC, and also 2012 at the St. Jude. So a lot of good, powerful players up here.
I can see Price going back to DJ after he screwed him a couple weeks ago.
I'm all in on Brooks this week.
Watch DJ's going off.
He probably is, but Brooks has been a fucking monster at this course the last 2 years. I mean, last year.
Yeah, I like.
He's just been so good. He's gaining a bunch of strokes on approach with his irons, tee to green. I mean, as long as he breaks even putting, which sometimes can be iffy for him, but we're on his best putting surface. So, I mean, Brooks loves this course. I think he has back-to-back top twos here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he got second last year and first the year before. So, I'm going to go ahead and ride or die with old BK this week. And I'm not going to play any other person in this range because you kind of got to pick one and roll. That's who I'm going to pick.
I'm with you on Brooks. Not in this range. Right below is my boy from the Alabama Crimson Tide. One here in 2020 is who I am personally targeting. I know it's 100 less than the range that we were going for, but that is who I'm targeting up top. Just full disclosure.
Yeah, I think he won 2 out of 3 times he's played the last three years. But the thing with him is form is coming in so bad he can't putt. He can't make a putt. Like, he's got the yips when it comes to putting. So that kind of worries me. That is an easy putting surface as far as the layout of the greens. So that obviously lends it itself to being better for him. But I mean, that guy is putting like Chris.
Yeah, well, we might say Camp Champ was coming in bad form a couple weeks ago. My boy, I think he missed 5 straight cuts and won the whole tournament. Golf is a little weird, and Justin Thomas is an elite player. So yeah, it could turn out bad, but I think he's underpriced, and I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, for me, I think I mean, Kala's my favorite play. I just don't know if I can spend that much money on him. Rates out great. I mean, he's a long par 4. I mean, this course is kind of tailored to him. You know, a lot of times drivers may not be needed, or it's a little risky, and then you got the long irons in, and he's such an elite iron player, ball striker. Obviously, the putting is one of his downsides too when he struggles. So I just think his form coming in is so dang good. It's just hard to click on him at 11,000. In my early builds, I've been skipping this entire range and you know, going for a more balanced build in a cash type environment. So for me, I like Morikawa, but I don't know if I'll be
It's
clicking
just too
in
expensive. I don't really want to play anybody who's flying back, personally.
Well, especially with the caliber of players you got here, you know, like you look and you got Koepka. I mean, Spieth's been playing really well. DJ, Rory, all cheaper than him. Justin Thomas. I mean,
you don't have to worry about a miscut either, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But I feel like Dustin and I were talking before here about we're exhausted from, you know, waking up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. to work out, then stay up for 13 hours. Like, I don't understand how these guys can completely flip time zones where they're like 8 hours ahead in 2 or 3 days.
They probably have like chambers on their private jets though. So
another pretty cool stat found was 24 out of the last 26 WGC events has been won by a major champion, minus Russell Knox, who is definitely the outlier, and then Xander, who we all know loves no cut events, won a gold medal. I always play him at WGCs. I like playing Xander anyways, like a lot of people, but this is the week, like with how many great players there are. Why do you want to go down cheap? Because a top player that's won a major in the past is going to win. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's some major down there in the 99,000 range too, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Decky or, I mean, you know, I mean, to me, it's like you got Schefflerberger, Cantlay, Mox, Louis, who's been freaking playing lights out. He just can't win, which is, I'll take a second place, right? So I just think there's a lot of very good golfers where you can, you know, save, you know, $1,500 and not have to go as low, and you get a better quality golfer on the bottom end to, you know, balance it out. That's just kind of my take on my early builds. I don't know if it'll stay that way. Just my initial thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the 9K range has so much talent in it. I mean, look at the dudes in there from Casey up to JT. I mean, really the top half of this field is just like every other WGC, just stacked. You got Berger, who's destroyed this course. You got Louis, who's in fantastic form. Yep. Hovland and JT rate out fantastic. Cantlay rates out great. So, I mean, you have so many good plays in this range.
Price, on a strategic way of building your lineups, how do you think you can, in such a small field, differentiate yourself from everybody else?
Just leave a few $100 on the table. Pick who you like, and then, like, some people are going to cram someone like Wilco, Niedeber, or Herman, or Strebin to try and fit a bunch of guys up top. But I don't really see the need in doing that. Just picking good golfers who can score for you. Like, we know it's going to be a tougher setup, going to be harder. But just, you know, there's going to be a lot of popular guys, and you can use multiple of them. You just can't use, you know, 6 guys who are projected over 20, like 15 to 20% owned, because then you don't really have a chance of winning any GPP. But at the end of the day, you just need guys who are going to finish top. You have 6 guys who are top 12 in DK scoring. You have a good chance to make a bunch of money.
So who price do you like in this 8K range?
To be honest, I think I'm going to fade the entire 8K range.
Wow. So you're gonna pick a couple at least in the 9K.
I think Finau's in shit form. I don't really like Fitzpatrick. I don't want to play guys who are coming back. So Reed, Lowry, Neiman, Answer, Cam Smith, Connors, and Fleetwood are all in there. And there's no chance I'm going to play Webb, who's been god awful. So it's just kind of a dead range for me. I'll build in the 9K and then 7K range to skip this completely.
Okay. Dustin, do you have anything that's a little bit more glass half full in the 8K range, or are you feeling the same way?
No, I mean, and that's what I was saying before when we first started. It's like, determining whether you want to play the guys that are flying back or not. So throw that out the window for a second. Guys I like regardless of that. Shane Lowry, I know he's 8,600, but the dude's been playing really, really, really good golf lately. So I like him as a sneaky kind of pick. I know he's 8,600, but you just look at his recent form, rates well in the model. He's eighth for me this week. He's coming off 12th at the Open, at a 6th Memorial, 4th at the PGA. So really, really good form coming in. So I like him. I like Corey Connors. He's a poor man's version of Morikawa, if you will. Great iron play, struggles with the putter, not super long off the tee. So I think the course kind of fits him well. And then, I like Abe Answer and Cam Smith kind of right there in that same range. So those are kind of the 4 that have stuck out to me.
Yeah. I'm going into it right now with the philosophy. I want to have 1 or 2. I want to at least have 2 golfers that's won a major championship. And so doing that, I'm going to have a lot of a few 9K and up guys. And that's going to mean I'm going to sacrifice the 8K range. I don't have as hard of a stance as Price does. Golf is a funny game where you could be hungover and playing hungover like John Daly and then go out and win a major. And other times you can feel rested and good, practice all week, and play like shit. Can't miss the cut, but won't win us some money.
So you're going to play Rose and Sergio then?
I want to play Phil at 6. I think he's 6,600 down there.
Yeah. Yep.
I like Phil. He got second here in 2020. He's a player that he can just turn it on and no cut event. I think he'll be able to score well. So I'm all about Phil at 6,600. And you can take a flyer down there with like a Siwoo at 64 or I don't know. There's actually some pretty decent players. There's some really good players down here. Or you can have your boy Cam Champ at 6,700.
What's weird is Higo. So Higo tore it up on the Euro Tour, comes over, makes the cut at the PGA, does shit, has a great Sunday, comes out the next week and wins at the Palmetto, and then miscut, did bad at the Rocket Mortgage, miscut at the Open, did terrible in the Olympics. Like the dude just, for someone who had won on the Euro Tour, just gets his first win on PGA Tour and just shits the bed. Makes no sense to me. But
Could be
I
a good
think
way to go back to him.
He is cheap. I really like Kokrak in the 7K range a lot. I don't know why. I just feel like he's been a really good player, and I don't think many will go there, to be honest, because there's better names, like bigger names a little bit cheaper than him. Like Hatton at 7,400 seems weird as shit to me.
Yep. And Harris English at 7,600 is intriguing as well.
Me and Price both had Harris English in our initial builds. Without really doing much research. But yeah, Kokrak, back to Kokrak for a second. Dude's been, he has 1 missed cut, at the Open, but besides that, the dude's been really, really good.
Yep.
He had a string of 3 top 10s and then a 13th and then first 12th and then a 26th at the Open. So yeah, I like it. The guy can score for sure.
Oh, I just looked at the initial projected ownership. Brooks is almost 30%.
Wow.
That's nuts. Wow, Kokrak's up there. He's top
Yeah.
7.
Counting so far what I've seen this week, which, you know, for good reason, probably. But
well, anyone who loves course history is going to click Brooks and Berger no matter what.
Yep.
Because they've been phenomenal. And then if you look at like the WGC major angle where it's strong fields, I believe Scheffler has top 10s in like 8 of the last 9.
yeah, we've rode Sheffield.
He's been a monster.
Yeah.
It sucks that for me that I love Louis O, and he's been so hot, and I just jumped off his train too early. I kept saying, all right, well, I've been playing the hot hand. He's been doing really good for me, and I jumped off that train just a little too early. So once again, 9,600, but his ownership is pretty high too.
What do you think of I don't know if he's allowed to play because Bryson had to pull out of the Olympics just like Ron because of COVID. But he's going to be one of the lowest owned people in the top half of the pricing.
Bryson?
Yeah. I think he's made the cut here, or not made the cut. He's finished like top half of the field every year. I mean, obviously he's 9,500 this time around, but you get him at like 5% owned.
Yeah, he ranked second in my model, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, really the only thing he struggles in mine is the par fours, the 450 to 500 over the last I think 24 rounds.
Which makes no fucking sense because he can hit it like 380 off the tee. You have like a 80-yard shot in.
He can't.
Those
wedges, those long wedges are just brutal for him. I don't know.
But you also got to remember, so with Bryson, right, this is where sometimes the numbers can kind of be skewed. He probably doesn't have a ton, you know, from that distance because of how far he hits it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, and maybe it's off the tee that's hurting him on those par fours because maybe he's trying to hit it, you know, 450 yards to get on the green. You know, so it's not just, oh, he sucks on par fours, 450 to 500. Why does he suck on those? Or why is he not doing well on those recently when it could be a, you know, off the tee issue?
Last question for you, Price. Brooks at almost 30% owned. Does that make you think twice?
I don't give a fuck, to be honest. If he's going to finish top 2, it don't matter if he's 30% owned because that means 70% of the people are behind the 8 ball. You know,
bang bang. I dig it. All right, let's wrap this up. We're gonna have another video who to play and who not to. So you want to check that out and see everything else over at dfsdads.com.